Hey guys, the MMO Ronin here. I've decided to make this new character to help you out with the beginning of the game. So this is going to be my beginner's tips for those just jumping into the Swords of Legend online beta. First thing you're going to want to do is go into your settings, your game settings, by hitting escape and go into game settings. If you don't like hearing the voice of the tutorial person, go down to sound effects, go all the way down to the bottom, and turn off tutorial voice. You can also mess with any other sound effects, turn off other voices, system voice, and stuff like that if you want to. But there was really a lot of talking going on for me, so that was the first thing that I did. Another question that people had was how do you switch in between action combat mode and your regular mode? That would be your left control button. Hit that, it goes into action mode where your mouse is now controlling the camera and you can use your mouse buttons to attack. You hit control again, it goes into the old school hold down right button to control the camera and run around, and then you have to press your key commands to attack. You can do key bindings if you want to redo those by going back to that same escape menu and go into shortcut settings. That'll allow you to change your key bindings around. Also, if you wanted to mess around with your interface, go to interface settings and you can see your everything you have up here: player portrait, image, target info. Move that around wherever you want to. As you can see, it is quite a bit. I'd like to give you a quick overview of the UI. If we look at the bottom here, we have our typical menu section that you see similar to like Final Fantasy XIV and other games. It first deals with characters and sword, mission, adventure, crafting, and stuff like that. Down here at the bottom, exiting, going to the shop. If we go up underneath our mini map, there's some quick selection menus. There's where your combat stats is, if you want to turn on your DPS meters and threat meters and stuff like that. They're right here. You can go to the shop, you can access any gifts you might receive from other players. The Dragonstar Guide is going to be your helpful book to teach you some things if you might not be certain and you need a refresher. You can come here. The Captain's Assistant tells you about boss events and when the boss casts their spells, stuff like that. You can set it up to see the timer to try to make a better strategy for your party. Camera mode is going into like a screenshot mode where you can select cameras, styles. This is oil painting, stuff like that. And then the Dragonstar list is like a ranking of the players on the server, and it kind of tells you like who's the best at whatever. The hill rankings, heartstring rankings, Zither melody composition rewards, and stuff like that. At the top, you can hide players if the screen is getting too crowded and your FPS is dropping. Hide players, hide teammates. You can even hide enemies if you don't need any enemies around. And you can block pop-ups. I'm not quite sure what are pop-ups considered in this game, but they are available to be hid. So a couple other things I want to go over with the menu. Over here to your left, over the chat box, there's a couple of options to toggle a private chat window, your inbox, master and apprentice for if you have an apprentice or if you have a master that's going to help you out with the game, and for your social. And then up here at your top left above your icon for your character, if you click settings, you can change some of the things that are shown up here or show some different things and stuff like that. When your menu appears here at about level 4, as you go through the story mode and stuff, there will be a thing that pops up for your class in the center here, like a little gauge. Each class has their own gauge that is different. If you click the question mark there, it'll pull up some information about that gauge and how it works. But also, when we get to our class training area, it'll teach us about how the gauge works as well, because some of this localization and the reading is kind of messed up a little bit. I switched characters because I wanted to show you guys something real quick. This character has more skills that are more of a variety of how they attack. So if you hover your mouse button, if you hit control, you switch in between your action attack and your mouse attack. If you take your mouse and you scroll over the buttons, you can see the range of attack that each attack has. So you look here, the blue outline goes way out past that barrier. Here is like a sweep in front of you. This is a straight line in front of you. This is also a sweep in front of you. This is on the Reaper class. You can see there's a shorter range here. And you can also look on the actual skill itself. There's a little box that shows the how it acts. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's not something you see very often in MMOs. Eventually, probably about level 5, you'll get to a spot where you have to come to Cloud Rise. If you're doing the event for the beta, which ends at the end of the second beta, this is where the wash basins are. So make sure you wash your hands at the wash basins. It's 14 seconds, you know, twinkle, twinkle, little star and all that stuff. And you'll get a buff that takes away like 5% damage. So that's pretty cool. It's for the event that's happening that gets you a panda. And you get one of these anti-epidemic stamps. So at some point in time, if you want to change your mount and you get a new mount, if you go into your skills tab, you can scroll down to mount. It's down here, fourth one down, and unfavorite your current mount, and you can set a new mount as your favorite, or you can just select favorite there and make it your new mount. Some mounts are in stores, and some mounts you'll be able to get through the game. Around level 6, you'll take your first steps into your class area. This is the summoner class area. I think it probably has one of the cooler designs and music. I thought the Reaper was pretty cool, but this one definitely has a cool look to it. While you are in your class training area for the first time, they'll have you do some quests specific to your class, and then they'll train you on how to use your skills. The artwork on this is really amazing. Like, they go through so much detail to make these statues and stuff. A lot of times people don't even notice this stuff. That's always amazing to me, how much time art department will put into a game for just maybe a small amount of people to really pay attention to and notice. So eventually in your class area, they'll have you do this skill training. And this is where you can learn do some drills and learn some combat healing for PvP and PvE missions. And so they'll have you do training for PvE and your beginning levels at like level 7, 8, stuff like that. So when you see these red exclamation marks, they're like teaching you their quest to teach you some of the system skills and stuff like that on how some of the system things work. And then these green question marks are dragon stars, which are like teleportation areas that allow you to resurrect there if you die. This particular quest doesn't have text dialogue, so they skipped it because it's in the beta. All right, so after you go through your quest line, and when you hit level 13, you're able to, it might be 12, but I caught it at 13. You can switch between your masteries. This is going to be after you come back from the dead. There's a section in there. Might be spoilers, but you'll see when I get to it. When you switch to your masteries, you can, all of your levels that you gained, switch over with your masteries as well. And you can just select everything you want, set your bars up, and then switch back. You can also drag this to your bar. So if you want to switch, you can just keep it on your bar and you'll switch every time. And that'll be about the second time you go back to your class training hall. So the first time will be the first time you see your class training hall. They send you some class training missions. And then by the time you go back the second time, your other skill, your second spec will have unlocked. So on your second time back, they'll teach you about the Astral Essences. When they teach you about Astral Essence, you can actually apply Astral Essence to both specs. So you'll get one at some point mastery points for this beta, and you'll get one for each spec. So you just kind of go down the order and put it where they want you to, but remember to change to your other spec to put it on your second spec. And so what your Astral Essences are like passive buffs to your character. You can see this one says effect when active, HP plus 108. Requires activate 1 astral point. And you just click it on there. And as you get more, you just go down the list, go down the line to where you want to go. And each one is going to give you more passive abilities and stuff like that. So once you do the quest that leads you to talk to the pet person and teaches you more about how the pet system works, your cultivation menu will open up and tell you some things you can do. So in the cultivation menu is like a lot of tutorials that you learn. As you go through it, you'll open up some of these rewards that you can get, and you'll just hit start with tutorial to go and do those. But first, let's look at their pet menu. So this is the pet menu. They want you to learn about that. Just feed it some of this stuff here. You can feed it your clothes, your old clothes that you don't wear anymore. And then you just level up the skills. so they can't level up anymore. And you're done. To get back to Heavenly Rise, you want to go to the map. It's this icon on your map that looks like it's like a little island or whatever, little green blob. Go to your map and you select the Heavenly Ridge to go back to the area to do your tutorial dungeon. There are a lot of people asking about how to go into the dungeons, and to go into them you just have to go up to the instant portal. As you can see right here, this is Yemo City instance portal, and that is the dungeon that we're doing, Yemo City in Uzao. You just go up to it and it just pops up entering instance. You can start recruitment, and that will be like you're looking for a group. You can do applications, see there's people looking for stuff. You can participate in matchmaking. For this one, they want you to do practice, which is drill on here, and you just click entering instance, and that's gonna be like your practice mode. You can do the beginner ones, the practice modes by yourself for the most part, but there's also an ability to add a companion, an NPC companion. For this one, it's not the case. The first one's gonna be by yourself, and there's gonna be NPC companions inside the dungeon. So when you get inside here, make sure you talk to the person at the beginning who's gonna give you the quest you need to complete the dungeon. If you pass him up, you kind of mess up the whole thing. So if you ever want to exit a dungeon, you can just leave the dungeon from this portal right here that's at the beginning of the dungeon. There are some people wondering how you exit dungeons. So you might just have to run back to the beginning or complete the dungeon. There's no way to really leave in the middle. I guess you can possibly teleport in the middle of the dungeon. Let's see. So you can summon the portal inside the dungeon and exit the dungeon that way if you want to. So once you go through the quest, you'll see that this first one is completed. You can come and talk to him. For the cultivation one, you just click on this cloud up here at the top, and you'll see where it says collect reward. Go ahead and collect reward there. Go to cultivation here and collect the reward here. And that will complete your cultivation. Now you're wondering, where can I get more quests at? There are no more quests. Also get your word there. So to get more quests, after you turn in this one, I'm level 15. Go ahead, it says expand the menu. You can go to the dungeon codex that tells you about the bosses. Over here, it's in my way. Over here, you can go to biography, and there will be a couple of missions you can do here. That's some more quests. As you do things, these unlock. There's rewards for those that you complete them. You can also hit your map, right click, and there's something here on the side. If you click starting here, that opens up more quests for you to do. As you can see, there's 135 more quests for you to do here. And that starts taking you back to Cloud Rise, and it'll open up here on your map. Off to the Cloud Rise again. Achieve, go to Yashin Palace in Cloud Rise. There's also more steps in your cultivation menu. If you go to, you can go PvP, there's a tactical, you can start the tutorials for all these, leisure and fun. Start each of these tutorials to do things, and that's how you get more quests to do for that. At some point in time, you'll go into the origami realm, and a lot of people are wondering how you get back to the treasure hunting realm. So you want to hit K, go to your skills, and under general, there's the origami realm. You can put that on your bar, or you can just click it here, and that'll send you to the origami realm, or intoxicating dreams is another way that they refer to it as. And that's all. Hopefully these tips will help you get started on your journey. The beta goes up to student level 1, which I believe was like level 37. So you have a lot of time to get in here, mess around with the various different characters. There's 6 character slots for you to play around with. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. Hopefully I was able to be clear for you guys, and I'll have some chapters in the description for you guys also. Thank you guys for watching it. I hope it was helpful again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.